Hello everybody and welcome to the Notable GCSE Live. So sorry about the title, it's getting a bit confusing what time this live's starting, but it's starting now. And we're going to be going over GCSE Maths Higher revision for the calculated paper that you're going to have. So this is mainly for Edexcel, but maths is, as I said before, really applicable to all sorts of exam boards. So yeah, the way this live is going to be structured is we're going to be doing past papers. We're going to start from 2017 and move forward like that. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, just put them in the chat and we'll start off like that. But we're going to do Edexcel, past papers, and again calculator as well. So make sure you have your calculators out as we practice. Okay, so we're starting off with a 2017 paper. It's nice to see everybody here. So let's get started. Yeah, this is to help maths calculator. So the table shows the probabilities that a biased dice will land on 2, on 3, on 4, on 5, and on 6. Neymar rolls the biased dice 200 times. Work out the estimate for the total number of times the dice will land on 1 or on 3. So you've got a probability question here. And unfortunately, I can't write on the document, so I'm going to have to write separately. We're going to do as many papers as possible. So starting from 2017, hopefully doing 18, 19, 20, at least those ones. So it would be great if I could write on this PDF, but I can't, unfortunately. Let me see if I can. Okay, I can't. It's fine. I'm going to have to write it out separately. We can do maths towards the end of AQA maths towards the end if some people do that example, but I think most people do Edexcel. So I guess the questions will be applicable either way. So let's do this question. So you've got number on the dice, and the probability. Now, what do we know about probability? The probability of anything, of all the possible outcomes, must add to 1. So the first things first, we work out the probability of us landing on 1. Get a Google extension to write on the PDF. You know what? That's a good idea. Bear with me for a second. I'll try and do that. How's your half term been, everybody? Has it been productive? I'm trying to add Far from productive. That's fine. I remember when I was doing my GCSEs, it wasn't productive either. It was quite hard to stay on task. But don't worry. At least it's over. You'll be doing your exams and then you'll be finished soon. Okay, I can't find a good Chrome extension. I found one here, but it's on a whole nother. Okay, we're gonna have to work with this. PDF unlock. Is that an extension or just generally search it? Let me search it. Sorry about this, everybody. I've unlocked it, but it's not. It's literally not still letting me write on it. PDF filler. This is for hire. Oh wow, a lot of people on there. For the people who have just joined, I'm just trying to find a Chrome extension that will allow me to write on the PDF so you guys can see as we're going through. Otherwise, it'll be difficult to keep switching screens. Okay. Okay, we'll just do it on this website here. So let's go through this question. This is higher. Thank you for everybody who tried to help. Lovely. Okay, let's continue. So, as we said, okay, as we said, the probabilities must sum to 1. Oh yes, I could just take a picture of. That's fine. The probabilities must sum to 1, so we can figure out what the probability of getting 1 is. It's just going to be 1 subtract the sum of all of the others, so 0.17, and that's just an easy calculator job to do. Okay, so subtract everything. By the way, this is the 2018 Edexcel paper 2. And you should get 0.32 or 31. .31. So that is 0.31. Now let's look at the question. So the dice is rolled 200 times. Work out an estimate for the total number of times the dice will land on 1 or 3. So when it's or, remember you add the probabilities up. So you're going to do the probability of landing on 1 plus the probability of landing on 3. So the probability of landing on 1 is, as we figured out, 0.31. And then the probability of landing on 3, as we figured, or as is given to us, is 0.18. And therefore, the sum of those two probabilities is 0.49. And we don't want to find out the probability. We want to find out an estimate for the total number of times that the dice will land on 1 or 3. So what you then want to do is you want to do 0.49 multiplied by 200. Because 0.49 of those 200 times is going to end up as a 1 or a 3, and you should get 98. Okay, well done for everybody answering the chat. That's great practice. We're going to move on to the next question. This is for hire. Yeah. On Saturday, some adults and some children were in a theatre. The ratio of the number of adults to the number of children was 5:2. Each person had a seat in the circle or had a seat in the stalls. 3/4 of the children had a seat in the stalls. 117 had seats in the circle. There are exactly 2,600 seats in the theatre. on this Saturday, were there people on more than 60% of the seats? You must show your working. Okay, so of all of the total number of children, we know that 3/4 of them, or 0.75 of them, had seats in the stall, and then seats in the circle, that must mean that there's a quarter left. And then we're told that 117 children had that many seats in the circle. So if we're told that 1/4 of the children is 117, we can work out the number of children by simply doing 117 multiplied by 4 to get you to 468. Okay, so now we know the total number of children. And we also know the ratio of children to adults on that Saturday. So if the ratio from adults to children was 5:2, and we know that there are 468 children, then we can easily work out what the adults are, because you can do 468 divided by 2 to work out what the value of 1 is as a ratio. So 468 divided by 2, which is 234. And then you can do 234 multiplied by 5 to get to this adult's value here. And that is 1,170. So that's how many adults. And remember, going back to the question, so on Saturday, were there people on more than 60% of the seats? So what is 60% of 2,600? That's what you have to work out. So 60% of that is just 0.6 times by 2,600, which is 1,560 seats in total. I would recommend, guys, as we're going through this, to answer the question yourself and then try and put it in the chat. And then if you don't get it, maybe listen to the walkthrough as well. Okay, so 1,560 seats, that means. And then what's the total amount of people that we have? The total amount of people is my pen's. Okay, thank you. Total amount of people is 1170 plus 468. Which is 1683. Therefore, that's more than 60%. So the answer is yes, there were more than 60% of people sitting there. Okay, moving on. Now we've got a shapes question. The diagram shows a prism with a cross section in the shape of a trapezium. Now remember, cross shape is effectively the area that is consistent throughout the volume of the shape, and therefore it's going to be this shape here. On the centimeter grid below, draw the front elevation and the side elevation of the prism. Now we're given this is the front and this is the side, so hopefully you remember doing this. Now the front elevation is this part here, so that's what we wanted to draw, and it's a centimeter grid, so we've got 2 meters. So it's 2 centimeters to every 1 meter. Therefore, 2 meters, it might be helpful to write, 2 meters will then be 4 blocks. That will also be 4 blocks. 0.5 is going to be 1 block. And then you can work out the last one yourself. So you've got 4 here for that 2 centimeter side. You've then got 4 here for that 2 centimeter side. And then you've got 1 here. And then the remaining lines just join themselves up like that. And then make sure you label front elevation. Okay, and then moving on to the side elevation. So looking back, the side elevation is just going to be this rectangle here, and you've got 1 meter at the bottom, which is 2 blocks, 0.5 meters here, which is 1 block. So it's a 2 by 1 block. Just like that. But then notice that's not the only thing we see from the side. You also see this part from the side as well. So what would that look like? Well, if you were looking at it from the side, it wouldn't have that slant. It would kind of just look like this. And notice that this part of the diagram, let me get a different color up. This part of the diagram is going to be 0.5 meters, but this height is 2 meters. And therefore you do 2 minus 0.5 to see the height of this elevation here. So that's 1.5 meters, and then that is going to be, well, each 0.5 meter is 1 block, so therefore you have 3 blocks higher. So you then draw that 3 block extra bit from the side elevation there. So make sure you draw that line, and that is a side, the side elevation. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Okay, Ollie drove 56 kilometres from Liverpool to Manchester. He then drove 61 kilometres from Manchester to Sheffield. Ollie's average speed from Liverpool to Manchester was 70 kilometres per hour. Ollie took 75 minutes to drive from Manchester to Sheffield. What was Ollie's average speed for the total drive from Liverpool to Sheffield? So we can draw this out in a diagram if that makes it easier. So you've got Liverpool here, L, you've then got Manchester here, and you've then got Sheffield here. So 56 kilometres from Liverpool to Manchester, and then 61 kilometres from Manchester to Sheffield. So you've got both distances there. So you can then write that the total distance is 56 plus 61, which is 117 kilometers. Okay, so that's the total distance. Next up, what do we want to work out? Or what else information is given to us? So we've got Ollie's average speed from Liverpool to Manchester was 70 kilometers per hour. So we're told that the speed from here to here was 70 kilometers per hour. So then we can then work out the time from Liverpool to Manchester, because speed is equal to distance divided by time. And if we're working out time, time is going to be the distance over the speed. So 56 over 70, which is 0.8. So 0.8 hours for this first part of the journey. Okay, and then next from Manchester to Sheffield, he took 75 minutes. You need to convert the minutes into hours. So 75 minutes is what? 60 minutes and 15 minutes. And 60 minutes is an hour. And then 15 minutes is a quarter of an hour. So you've got 1 plus a quarter, which is equal to 5 quarters, or 1.25 hours. For that to that. So you can then work out the speed from Manchester to Sheffield, but that's not required. So we want to work out the average speed for the total drive. So the average speed is going to be the total distance, which as we worked out is 117, over the total time taken. So 117 over 0.8 for the first journey plus 1.25 for the second journey. Okay, and Let me do this again. So 117 over 0.8 plus 1.25. And that should get you 57.0731. And since everything here is given to two significant figures, we can give it to two significant figures, or in this case, this is three significant figures, so let's do 3. So that's 57.1 kilometers per hour. Okay. It's lovely to see so many of you also in the comments as well. In the chat, sorry. Okay, Janie drove from Barnsley to York. Janie's average speed from Barnsley to Leeds was 80 kilometers per hour. Her average speed from Leeds to York was 60 kilometers per hour. Janie says that the average speed from Barnsley to York can be found by working out the mean of 80 kilometers per hour and 60 kilometers per hour. If Janie is correct, what does this tell you about the two parts of Janie's journey? Well, clearly we know it's not correct, okay? And the reason why it's not correct is you don't just add up the two speeds and divide it by 2 to find the average speed. You have to do the total distance over the total time. So but we're saying, assuming that she was correct, what does this tell you about the two parts? Well, let's do that. So you do 60 plus 80 over 2, that's finding the mean. That's 70. So the average speed is 70 kilometers per hour. But what does this tell you? That then suggests that the time taken for both parts of the journey were the same. Hello, everybody who's coming. We are also going to do a Kahoot later on as well, because that's quite fun to do. Okay. Well done to everybody getting that correct. Let's now move on to question 5. So we've got ABC and EDC are straight lines. Oh, thank you, Chidima. I'm glad you like these lives. Thank you. Okay. ABC and EDC are straight lines. EA is parallel to DB. EC is 8.1 centimeters, DC is 5.4 centimeters, and DB is 2.6 centimeters. Work out the length of AE. So we want to work out this length here. Let's highlight it. AE. Oh, it's really... Okay, we want to work out this length here, AE. And we've got some other lengths. So we've got EC is, let's write this, EC is 8.1 centimeters. DC is 5.4 centimeters. And hence we therefore know that ED is 8.1 minus 5.4. It's always good to write these things down. And that is 2.7 centimeters. And then DB is 2.6 centimeters here. Now, there's something to notice here. They aren't just expecting you to use Pythagoras. These two triangles are similar triangles. So they are not congruent, but they are similar. How do we know they are similar? Well, talking about the lengths of the things, so they share the same side. For example, this line here, that triangle is just an extension of this line. So you know they're parallel. And then the same thing here. This line here is just an extension of that line there. and therefore you know they are similar triangles. So what do we then do with these similar triangles? We can then use the fact that they're similar to use scalar factors to see the sides. So they are similar triangles, so let's use scalar factors to see the sides. So we've got our two triangles here. So this is 5.4 centimeters. This is 8.1 centimeter. We don't know what BC or AC are. That's what we would work out. We know that this is 2.6. And we are trying to find out AE, which on our diagram would be this length here. So just using scalar multiples, what is the scalar factor? Well, you're going from 8.1 to 5.6. So that is our scalar multiple. So we now know that this scalar multiple times by some variable equals 2.6, i.e. this length here, x, times by that scalar multiple equals 2.6. So you can then do 2.6 divided by this. Or in this case, it will be 8.1 over 5.6 multiplied by 2.6. And therefore, your answer should be 3.76. Oh, it's not 5.6, sorry, it's 5.4. I copied that wrong. It's 5.4. Yep, that's why there was a mistake there. And therefore, the answer should be 3.9. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for that. Okay. Next, AC is 6.15 centimeters. Work out the length of AB. So AC is 6.5 centimeters, work out that length. So again, we're using the similar triangles property. So using the ratios then that we have, I might do foundation later. This is the 2017 paper. So for this last bit, work out the length of AB. So I might redraw the triangles again because it's slightly messy. So one is smaller. So the base, this one is 8.1, this one is 5.4, this is 2.6, and we worked out this is 3.9. And we're now given that AC is 6.15. So can we now work out this length there? Okay, so how do we then work out that length? We use a similar triangles. So we know that the ratio is going to be the same. So let's label these triangles. So we've got from here EC, here AEC, and this one is BDC. So we know that the ratio EC over DC, i.e. the bottom parts, is the same as the ratio AC to BC. Okay, so the bigger part to the smaller part is the same ratio as the bigger part of the other part to the smaller part, i.e. we're timesing all the sides by the same scale factor. So what you then do is you then substitute in the values that we have. So EC, as we worked out, was 8.1, and then DC is 5.4. And we know that that ratio is equal to AC, which is 6.15, over BC, which we know as X. You can then cross multiply. So do X times by 8.1 equals 6.15 times by 5.4. and therefore 8.1x is equal to 32.94. And then you divide it appropriately. So x is just equal to 4.06666, so that can just be 4.1. Okay, but then we don't want to just get into the mistake of just putting 4.1 because that's the length of that's the length of a part of it, as in the difference. So you then want to do 6.15 subtract 4.1, and you then get 2.05. Okay, let's now move on to the next question, which is about interest. So Anil wants to invest 25,000 for 3 years in a bank. You've got the personal bank with compound interest of 2% for each year, and then you've got the secure bank with compound interest 4.3% for the first year, and then 0.9% for each extra year. Which bank will give Anil the most interest at the end of the 3 years? You must show all of your working. Okay, so for these, I always recommend just splitting up the page because you're comparing the two. So you've got your personal bank, and then you've got your secure bank. So they are both compound interest, but it's different for the secure bank. You've got two key statements to look at. So let's start with the personal bank. So we've got 2% for each year. So if it's 2% compound interest, that can be then written as, what you want to do is you want to do 100% plus 2% divided by 100, i.e. 1.02. For compound interest, the formula is always the value, the initial value that you have, multiplied by this to the power n, where n is the number of years it is. So you've got our initial value, which is 25,000, times by 1.02 to the power of the number of years, which is 3. Okay, so generally quite simple to work out. And you then have 26,530.20 £. Okay, so that's how much we're getting through that way. So what is the value of the interest? Well, the interest is on top of what was initially put in. So the interest is going to be the value here, £26,530.20, subtract the initial 25,000. So the interest here is £1,530.20. Okay, so for the secure bank method now, the secure bank method, we've got 4.3% for the first year, and then for the next 2 years, or because there's 3 years, you then have 0.9%. So you treat the first part as a normal simple interest. So we have our initial 25,000, and you're then going to multiply it by 100 plus 4.3% over 100, so 1.043. And then just to the power 1 because it's 1 year, and you then get £2,675. And that is your value, and then you have your next 2 years, so you then do that value there, 26,075 times by the next bit of interest, which is 0.9, so 1.009 to the power of 2 because it's 2 years. And then that way you should get 26,546 £50. So the value of the total interest obtained in that way is going to be that value minus 25,000, which is just £1,546.50. 50 pence. So the secure bank earns more interest. It's important to always show that so you have your final statement. The secure bank provides greater interest. Okay, moving on to the next one. A number n is rounded to 2 decimal places. The result is 4.76. Using inequalities, write down the error interval for n. So since it's rounded to 2 decimal places, we need to consider what the possible values could be. So we've got our number 4.76. So this had another value after it that determined this being rounded. So what could that possible value be? That is what we're trying to show here. So the minimum possible value is going to be 4.755. And then the maximum value is going to be 4.765. As some people are saying in the chat, well done. But it's not going to be this sign there. Sorry, that was a mistake. So it's just going to be less than, because if it was 4.765, then it would go into being 4.77 instead. Okay, so that's the error interval. Next, the cumulative frequency graph shows some information about the heights of 60 students. Work out an estimate for the number of these students with a height of greater than 160 centimeters. So first things first, always on your diagram, find out and mark the 160 centimeters mark. So 160 centimeters is here. And therefore it seems to match up like that. So what is the corresponding value on the y-axis? Well, it seems to be 48. Okay, so that doesn't mean 48 people have a height of 160 centimeters. This is cumulative frequency. So this means that 48 people have a height of up to and including 160 centimeters. But we want to work out an estimate for the number of students with a height of greater than 160 centimeters. So we need to do the total amount of students, which is 60, take away 48 students, which is 12. And therefore, this value represents the number of students less than and equal to a height of 160 centimeters. So that is our answer. Okay. Okay, the diagram shows triangle A drawn on the grid. Kyle reflects triangle A in the x-axis to get triangle B. I'm making this smaller so you can see. He then reflects triangle B in the line y is equal to x to get triangle C. Amy reflects triangle A in the line y is equal to x to get triangle D. She's then going to reflect triangle D in the x-axis to get triangle E. Amy says that triangle E should be in the same position as triangle C. Is Amy correct? So the best thing is to actually use a diagram given. So let's draw all of the triangles out. So to get to triangle B, you need to reflect the triangle in the x-axis. So that's pretty simple, not too difficult. So reflecting this triangle into the x-axis, I don't know why it's not letting me write. is generally simple. So our first step, reflect it in the x-axis. So we then get this triangle. I don't know why it's not letting me write, and then it does. Okay, there. So sorry, it's not letting me write on the screen. Okay. Okay, let me try. Copying and pasting this onto a whiteboard since it's being quite difficult. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. So our first requirement is to reflect it in the x-axis. So reflecting it in the x-axis, you then can just match up all of the points. Like that. And make sure to label your triangle B. Our next step, as asked about, we then have to reflect triangle B in the line y is equal to x to get triangle C. So reflecting triangle B in the line. So this is the line y is equal to x. Ooh. So reflecting that across is going to fling it all the way up to the next quadrant. So you have to talk about the relationship towards this line. So you can see that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 across. So 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and then 1 down, so 1 up. So that's going to be that point there. And then you know it's going to just be that reflected. So that is our triangle C. Okay, and then to get our next part, which is reflecting triangle A in the line y is equal to x to get triangle D. So that is reflecting the original triangle into the line. Now reflecting this into that, you're simply going to just get like that. And then that is triangle D. And then after reflecting it like that, she's then going to reflect triangle D in the x-axis to get triangle E. So getting to triangle E, reflecting D in the x-axis, you then bring it here. Like this to get E. Now, what was the original statement? Amy says that triangle E should be in the same position as triangle C. Well, clearly not. The two triangles are not in the same position. As you can see, that's triangle C and that's triangle E, so it's not. Let's move on to the next question. The table shows some information about 8 planets. Write down the name of the planet with the greatest mass. So this is using your standard form abilities. So what has the greatest value in terms of standard form? It might just make sense to look at the last 2 numbers. So you can see that Jupiter seems to have the largest power of 10 times 10 to the 27. So therefore, let's say Jupiter is the planet with the greatest mass. Okay, part B is asking us to find the difference between the mass of Venus and the mass of Mercury. So what would that be? The mass of Venus, let's write this down, is 4.869 times by 10 to the 24. And then the mass of Mercury is 3.302 times by 10 to the power of 23. So the best way to do this, as I spoke about in my going over everything, is just to make one of them the same power. So let's make them both times 10 to the 23. So this would then be 48.69 times 10 to the 23. Subtract the same thing. And then you can easily just subtract them. So do 48.69, subtracting 3.302, and you should get 45.388. And then the power just stays exactly the same because we've made them both the same. But remember, this isn't standard form. Standard form is a value. This value has to be between 1 and 10. So it would be 4.5388 multiplied by 10 to the power 24. That would be the answer. Yes, you can just use a calculator because it's just 1 mark. But that's a good point. But if it was multiple marks, you need to show you're working. Nishit says that Neptune is over 100 times further away from Earth than Venus is. Is Nishit right? So we're looking at Neptune and Venus. So Neptune, and because it's show you're working, you can't just calculate this, you've got to show it out. So Neptune is 4.35 times 10 to the 9. Okay, and then we've got, what are the 2 places? Venus. So Venus is 4.14 times 10 to the 7. So this is Neptune, and this is Venus. So he is saying that Neptune is over 100 times further away than Venus is. So he's saying that 4 multiplied by 100. And since it's over 100 times further than Earth, so it's going to be, it's still less than 4.35 times 10 to the 9. So just working that out, well, here 100 is equivalent to 10 squared, and therefore you're just going to add those powers. So what do you then get? You then get 4.14 times 10 to the, sorry, that is supposed to be 7. So you then get 4.14 times by 10 to the 9. And is this statement true? Is 4.35 times 10 to the 9 greater than 4.14 times 10 to the 9? Yes, it is. Because they're the same power, as you can see here, Nishit is clearly right. He is correct. Okay, let's now move on to this next question. So you've got an algebraic system here. You want to just solve it. So I would always say the first step to questions like this is going ahead and saying, I want to get rid of the fraction. So let me just screenshot this and put it on the whiteboard. Okay, it's unable to screenshot, so okay. Okay. So let's answer this one. First thing, as I said, we want to try and do is get rid of the fraction part of this. So how do we get rid of the fraction part of this? We want to multiply everything by a number that will get rid of it. So if we multiply this fraction by 4, we know that will get rid of that. If we multiply this fraction by 3, we will know that will get rid of that fraction. And if we multiply it by 6, that will get rid of that fraction. So if we multiply everything by a number that is a multiple of 4, a multiple of 3, and a multiple of 6, which is 72. But let's see if we can reach an easier number. Well, we know that 72 divided by 2 is 36, and 36 is divisible by all of the values. So let's start by multiplying everything by 36. For the first fraction, because it's divisible by 4, you end up only multiplying it by 9. So you've got 9 times by 3x minus 2. For the second fraction, since that's divisible by 3, you multiply it by 12. And for the fraction on the other side of the equal sign, you're multiplying it only by 6 because 36 divided by 6 is 6. Okay, now just expanding that, you've got 27x minus 18 minus 24x minus 60 is equal to 6 minus 6x. And then just equating that, making it much more simpler. 27 minus 24 on the left-hand side is 3x. And then you've got minus 18 minus 60, which is minus 78. And that equals 6 minus 6x. So you can add 6x on both sides. You've got 9x. And then add 78 on both sides. And you get is equal to 84. Is that correct? When does this end? This will end probably at 7:30. 7:30 to 8, yeah. Mahim is correct. Okay, so let me just double check everything. So that is one method of doing it, but another method of doing it is this method. So using the common denominator of 12 instead of 36. Yeah, that would probably be an easier way to do it. And then you can get the same answer. Yeah, the answer is 28 over 3. I must have made a mistake when we were doing this. Let me double check. Oh, it's the same thing. Okay, perfect. They're equivalent. Thank you. Hello, Jude. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. I was just getting a bit confused. So, yeah, that was probably an easy way to do it, finding the lowest common multiplier. Let's move on to this question. So, there are 30 students in Mr. Lear's class. 16 of the students are boys. 2 students from the class are chosen at random. Mr. Lear draws this probability tree diagram from this information, write down one thing that is wrong with the probability in the probability tree diagram. Yeah, we'll be doing a Kahoot after this. Okay, so let's see what's wrong. There's 30 students and 16 are boys. So 16 out of 30 is a boy, that's correct. And then 1 minus that should be the probability for the girls. So 14 out of 30 has been put for the girls. That is correct. Okay, next, another student is drawn. Now, they're both chosen at random. Okay, so this is the issue. They're both out of 30. So the second students shouldn't be out of 30. They should be out of 29 because you've already drawn one student and this is without replacement. Always assume it's without replacement. Well done, Gareth Bale. You've got it. And everybody else. Okay. So that is what is wrong. We're now going to move on to the next part. Owen and Wasim play for the school football team. The probability that Owen will score a goal in the next match is 0.4. The probability that Wasim will score a goal in the next match is 0.25. Mr. Slater says the probability that both boys will score a goal in the next match is 0.4 plus 0.25. Is Mr. Slater right? So, what have we got here? Probability that Owen will score a goal is 0.4. Probability that Wasim will score a goal is 0.25. The probability that both will score a goal, no, that's not correct. So because it's and, remember, key rule in probability that just works with everything. If you're talking about, if it says and, then you always multiply. If it says or, you add. So in this case, because it's 0.4 and plus 0. Because it's both boys, so Owen and Wasim, it would be 0.4 times 0.25, so that's correct. Mr. Slater did not pass maths 100%. Okay, that was the only question from there. So the next one is a question about histograms. The histogram shows some information about the ages of the 134 members of a sports club. 20% of the members of the sports club who are over 50 years of age are female. Work out an estimate for the number of female members who are over 50 years of age. So I'm going to screenshot this so that we can put it on the whiteboard and draw on it. So 20% of the members of the sports club who are over 50 years of age are female. So how many, we can find the frequency of the people who are over 50 years of age, but what is the actual question asking us? The question is asking us, work out an estimate for the number of females who are over 50 years of age. So let's start by working out the total number of members of people who are over 50. So 50 is going to be right intersecting this bit here. Why is it not letting me draw? Why is it not letting me draw? Sorry. So many tech issues. Okay, here, that's better. So that's going to be where 50 is. So everything from this line onwards. Okay. So to find the frequency of just between 40 and 50, what you're going to do is you're going to do 60 minus 40 and then multiply that by the frequency density, which is here, which is, let's look at that, that is going to be 1.4. So the frequency density for that age group is 1.4. Okay, and that'll get you the total number of members who are between 40 and 60, and the total number of members who are between 60 and 90 is going to be 90 minus 60 multiplied by that frequency density. So that frequency density is 0.7. Okay, and then you then add those up to find that's the total number of people above that age. So working that out on the calculator, you should get 35. But what you also need to take account of is that because we think we're saying over 50, not over 40, so you're going to half the value between 40 and 60. So it's going to be 60 minus 40 times by half for this first bit there. And then you should get 35. So 35 is our estimate, and then we're told that 20% of them are female, so 20% of those women, so 20% of 35, and we're probably going to get, oh, we're not, okay, we get the answer 7. Okay, so does that make sense? Hopefully that does make sense. Okay, if that does, we'll go on. Here are some graphs. In the table below, match the equation with the letter of the graph. This is a fun activity, so let's look at that. So we're matching the equations with the graph, so hopefully you should be able to recognize them. So what might help is drawing what the shape of the graph will look like next to it. So the sine graph, well, we know that the sine graph is going to look like this. At 90, it's got its peak at 1, and then at 180, it crosses the axis at 0, etc. So let's look at the graph shape. Which one looks like that? Which one starts at 0 and continues on? It seems to be C. So our answer for the first one is C. Have you already got this question? Okay, that's interesting. Let's just go through it anyway, just as a reminder. Y is equal to x cubed plus 4x. I'm surprised. Okay, if it came up in the previous one, we might as well skip it because there's no point doing it. The topics won't come up, aren't likely to come up again. Okay, let's move on. A, B, C, and D are 4 points on the circumference of a circle. A, E, C, and B, E, D are straight lines. Prove that triangle A, B, E, and D, C, E are similar. Okay, I'm going to just screenshot and we can get this onto the whiteboard. So we want to prove that triangle ABE, which is this triangle here, prove that that and DCE are similar. So we've got no common points, but let's see what we can say about them. So AEC and BED are straight lines. Okay, and let's see what else we can think about this. So what have we got here? We've got a cyclic quadrilateral. Notice that as well. So because it's a cyclic quadrilateral, which just means all 4 points of the quadrilateral lie on the circumference of the circle, we know that opposite sides will sum to 180. So this and this add up to 180, and this angle add up to 180. Now, what else can we think about? So what else do we know? We know that some of the angles, because they're straight lines, we've got the vertically opposite angles here and here. So let's start labeling some angles. Okay, and writing our conclusions from them. So we know that angle DEC is going to equal angle AEB. As such, well done everybody. You can't say angles in the center because we don't know if E is the center and it doesn't look like it here. So we can't use that, but we'll start off by saying DEC. So that's the symbol for angle. So angle DEC equals angle AEB, and then you've got to give your reasoning. So you can say because they are vertically opposite. Okay, and then what other angles do we know? Well, because they're vertically opposite, we can also say Oh, and also, by the way, because both of those are equal, that means we've got angle. So we're going to try and prove this by either angle side side or angle side angle, any of those. So we've got an angle in common here. They both have angle x. Alternate angles are equal. Alternate angle theorem. Segment them. Yes, you can do that. So you can say if I was to draw a tangent at this point here, for example, we would then say that, or let's do it here, a more convenient point. We know that this angle would equal the other angle. I can't draw it on here, it's being a bit difficult. Yes, I know angle isn't proof, but we are asked to show that they're similar, and angle shows it to a similar. So that's all you need. For those of you asking, I'll show you the answers here. So this method has shown the angle method, as we spoke about. This angle here, AEB equals DEC because of vertically opposite. Then they said BAE equals EDC because angles in the same segment are equal. So BAE and EDC. And therefore, that also applies to these angles there. And yeah, it wasn't too difficult. It was just about highlighting that the question is asking to show that they're similar, not necessarily that they are congruent. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Use algebra, prove that 0.136 recurring times 0.2 recurring is equal in value to 1/33. So I think the best way to do this is to convert both into fractions and then multiply them. This is a maths paper, by the way. This is a 2017 paper. Let's finish this paper and then we'll do a Kahoot, if that's okay. Has this topic come up? Recurring decimals. We won't do it if it has come up. Okay, thank you for telling me. Yeah, that seems like a topic that would come up on non-calc. Okay, so let's do this. ONQ is a sector of a circle with center O and radius 11 centimeters. A is the point on ON and B is the point on OQ, such that AOB is an equilateral triangle of side 7 centimeters. So this is equilateral. Each angle is therefore 60 degrees. Calculate the area of the shaded region as a percentage of the area of the sector. I was going to do a 2022 paper, but I'd assumed that most of you have done that. That's why I was trying to dig for a paper that you guys hadn't really done before. Okay, let's do this. So, using the information we're given, so we're told that the radius is 11 centimeters. So we know that this length here is 11 centimeters. What else are we given? We're given that it's of side 7 centimeters. So this part here is 7 centimeters. And therefore each of these angles are 60 degrees. We don't know if that will come in handy, but it's worth writing it out. Calculate the area of the shaded region. So the area of the entire sector is always the angle over 360 degrees times by the area. Now the area of a circle is always pi r squared. So now plugging the values in, we know that our angle is 60 degrees over 360 multiplied by pi, and then the radius is 11 squared. So that's the area of the entire thing. So to find the shaded area, you will then do that minus the area of the triangle. And to find the area of the triangle, we know our area is half AB sine C. That's a useful equation to do. And therefore, we then do minus half, and the signs are both of the sides are 7, so it'll be half 7 times by 7 times by sine of the angle, which is 60. Okay, so you then do that, you plug those values into your calculator, and you should get that the area of the triangle is 49√3/4. The area of the entire sector itself is 121/6 pi. You then subtract those two values and you get 42.1. as your answer. If you don't know any circle theorems, by the way, there's a sheet on my website which contains all of the circle theorems and all of the proofs for each of the circle theorems that I wrote. So that's probably useful for you guys. But that's not the final answer because they want us to express the area as a percentage of the area of the whole sector. So you then do 42.1 over the area of the entire thing. Now the area of the entire thing was, as we found out, 121 over 6 pi. So you then do that and then times it by 100 and you should get your percentage, and the percentage should be 66.5. Okay. Here we've got a question which is not too difficult. So going over that, we've got 16 to the power of 1/5. So 16, notice that everything here can be written as a power of 2, and that should be our power to do that. So 16 to the power of 1/5. Now 16 is 2 to the power 4. And then we have 2 to the power x. And that is supposed to equal 8 to the power 3/4. And 8 is 2 cubed. So you can write it just like that. This question came up as well. Okay. We'll skip that then. But yeah, hopefully you should be able to know what to do if you wanted to continue that question anyway. Okay, we've got another question. 2 minus x plus 2 over x minus 3 minus x minus 6 over x plus 3 can be written as a single fraction in that form. Work out the values of a and b. So we'll do this question and then we're almost done, and then we're going to do a Kahoot. Okay. So this came up as well. Okay. We'll move on then. The diagram shows part of the graph y is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 3. So you've got quadratic here. By drawing a suitable straight line, use your graph to find estimates for the solution that equals 0. So you can see that it's a different graph here. So hopefully this question hasn't come up. Is question 20, did that come up as well? Can you guys tell me if question 20 came up? Because I don't know if you're talking about the previous one. Okay. Okay, I don't think it has. So let's continue. It didn't. Perfect. So using our knowledge here, the quadratic that we are given is y is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 3. And then we're trying to solve it by drawing a line, x squared minus 3x minus 1 equals 0. So you can see that it's a different, but how does it differ? We've got plus 3 here and minus 1 here. So what have you done? We've clearly minused 4. So you've got x squared minus 3x plus 3 minus 4 equals 0. So you then draw, so you can write it like that, and therefore what you're doing is you're equating this quadratic to the line y is equal to 4. So you then draw the y is equal to 4 graph on that, and that should be your answer. Zane, I can see you in the chat, by the way. Okay. P is the point on the graph y is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 3, where x is 2. Calculate an estimate for the gradient of the graph. So you just draw a tangent where you see x equals 2. It's not too difficult. Okay, let's do this one. The diagram shows 3 identical circles inside a rectangle. We'll do a Kahoot. We're almost done with this, so let's continue. The diagram shows 3 identical circles inside a rectangle. Each circle touches the other 2 circles and the sides of the rectangle as shown. The radius of each of the circles is 24 millimeters. Work out the area of the rectangle. Okay, so yeah, I think this is an interesting one. You may have gone over in class because a lot of this was a question where most people in the UK weren't able to answer this. Yeah, as people are saying, you use the radiuses to so you can see that there, and then that will be an equilateral triangle, and you can then work out the height of that. So I'll show you the mark scheme here. You construct the equilateral triangle, and then you can work out the height of that rectangle, or the height of that triangle, sorry. Okay, and then once you work out the height, you can then also work out the width. And you then know that the length of this rectangle is, or the width of the rectangle is equal to 2 circles touching each other. So that will be 4 radii. So you can easily work that out. I'll give Zane credit. You were able to answer that. And also Jude. Both of you guys were able to answer that. Okay, just 2 more questions left, guys. So let's continue. We've got 5 terms of a sequence. Find an expression in terms of n for the nth term of the sequence. So let's see who can get the answer first. If you're unable to do it, then I'm going to be doing this on the board. But let's see who can get the answer first. So you want to start by working out the first difference if you're unable to do this. So the first difference is 7 here, 11 here, 15 here, and the difference individually is 4, 4. So the second difference is equal to 2a. So a is equal to 2. The first difference is equal to 3a plus b, which is 7. And we know that a is now 2. So that's 6 plus b, which is 7. So the value of b is 1. And then the value of c, a plus b plus c equals the first term there, 4. A is 2, b is 1. So c must be also 1. So our quadratic an squared plus bn plus c should be 2n squared plus n plus 1. Well done, everybody who got that. I think Bob the Builder got it first, but some of you might have the mark scheme. But well done, well done everybody else who got that. This method that I used is a specific method, but most people don't use that. So whatever method you guys use is absolutely fine as long as you get used to it. This is a really quick method, and I think I explained it before in a live. But yeah, it doesn't really matter as long as you're able to do it. Okay, and we should be on the last question before we're doing a Kahoot. So L is the circle with equation x squared plus y squared is 4. P is a point on L, on the circle. Find an equation of the tangent to L at the point P. So it's always useful to draw a diagram in these questions. Okay, that's our center, and we're told that the equation is x squared plus y squared is equal to 4. So we know that it has the center at the circle. And since we know that the radius squared is 4, we know that the radius is the square root of 4, which is 2. And therefore it intersects here at 0, 2. It intersects here at 2, 0, here at minus 2, 0, and here at minus... Sorry, that's the wrong one there. 0, minus 2, and then minus 2, 0. Okay. So we're then, what's the rest of the question? So a P is a point on the circle. You've got 3 over 2 root 7 over 2. So let's just draw this random point. It doesn't really matter if that's actually where the point exists or not. So we've got 3 over 2 root 7 over 2. And then the question is asking us, find an equation of the tangent to L at the point P. So effectively where it touches the circle just like that once and only once. So notice that what we can do is find the gradient of the radius up until that point. And then since they are perpendicular, it makes right angles. So the gradient is going to be the negative inverse. So let's start with finding out the gradient of this line here. So we've got the coordinates and we've got the coordinates. So the gradient of the radius up until that point is going to be, remember, the change in y over the change in x. The change in y is root 7 over 2, and then the change in x is 3 over 2. So the overall gradient is root 7 over 3. Now that's the gradient of the radius. So the gradient of the tangent is going to be the negative reciprocal. So the gradient of the tangent is going to be minus 3 over root 7. Now we've got y is equal to mx plus c. So we now know the gradient of the tangent, which is minus 3 over root 7 x plus c. We then want to plug in values of x and y to find c, the y-intercept, and we already know a point that we can use, 3 over 2 root 7 over 2. So you then plug that in. So 3 over 2 root 7 over 2. To find the value of c, and once you plug those values in, you should get that c is equal to 8 root 7 over 7, and therefore that's your equation. So y is equal to minus 3 over root 7 x plus 8 root 7 over 7. Okay, and I believe that is the last question. Yep, that is it. So we did the 2017 paper. That took a bit longer than expected, but I think it was quite useful at least to go through them with you. We're now going to do a Kahoot, so bear with me whilst I get Kahoot up. It'll be a maths related one, so it might be interesting to do. You can ask a question, of course, yeah, as long as it's relevant. How did we get C? So to get C, we plugged in the point because we know that on this tangent, we're given one point that we know is definitely on it, and it's the point on the circle. So the point on the circle is 3 over 2 root 7 over 2. And you then plug that into what we now know as the equation, just without c. So you plug in the y value, you plug in the x value, and then you'll find out c. Just realized I wasn't sharing the screen, so sorry. I thought I was sharing the screen, sorry. But hopefully that makes sense. So we know that the point is on the tangent, so you then plug that in there. Okay, I'm going to get a GCSE Maths Kahoot up. Just trying to find a GCSE higher Kahoot for maths. Okay. Oh, you guys excited to go to the prom? Have you had your prom yet? No. No, some people already have. Okay, if you aren't able to join that Kahoot, you can join this Kahoot instead. Guys, don't worry if the Kahoots are filling up. There's going to be other games all running simultaneously, so... Okay, this game has become full up, so you can join this third game if you are unable to join the first two. Wizard 4.0 is at the top, Mahim is second, Chidima is third, Lagging is fourth, and Ohio is fifth. Ohio Sigma is winning that one. For the second game, you've got Bird winning, Jude second, Kojo third, FF fourth, and Zane fifth. There are 30 questions and they're all related to GCSE maths. Wizard has reclaimed their spot at the top. Okay, I'm going to start this game here. Jude is now at the top of the second game. Well done. Who is winning this one? No Wolf was a baddie is third. Come on, you need to win. Chidima is winning this game. Amazing. Wow, the leaderboards keep changing. FFF has a streak of 3 correct answers in a row. Well done. And for the third game, Jay is winning at the top. Chidima's still winning. Keep it up. FFF still winning this one. Jude fourth. These are calculator. Thank you, Jude. I agree. I don't really know what that means, but I agree. It sounds good. Wow. Whoever is FFF, you're doing amazing. Streak answer of 5 correct answers in a row. Let's see if anyone can beat that with more than 5 in a row. Chidima's still at the top. Keep it going. For this next game, Jay at the top, SB second, Zin Wolf third, Who fourth, No Wolf was a baddie at fifth. Okay. Okay. What was I doing these past 2 days? I was. Oh, as in, why didn't I have lives? Oh, I didn't have lives because my computer was not functioning. As you can see, there's a lot of issues with it. It doesn't work at all. I think maybe the lives have battered it, but yeah. But thank you for your concern. Oh, well done, FFF. Still doing amazing. So I want to know about your guys' prom. Have most of you had it, or you are going to have it after your exams? Thank you, Chidima. Chidima worries for me. So cute. I never even went to my own prom or my year's prom. 24th of June, 20th of June, so after exams. Okay. Mostly after exams. Okay. Some schools do before exams, but why did I miss my prom? Well, I didn't really like my school. That's why. I could not wait to leave it, so I did not want anything to do with that. And also, yeah. Some people like that, but some people want to go. I think it's fun if you enjoy and like your school and have your friends and all of that. Yeah, it is more convenient for people to attend if it's after. It doesn't really make sense to have it before, but well done everybody who's in the top 5. That's hard. Yeah, you can use calculator, 100%. Are the questions wrong? Oh yeah, you want to dress up. Oh yeah, that's the part I missed though. I wish I got to dress up for prom. That would have been fun. Jude is coming back second place. Jay is first. FFF is third. Come on, you can get back to the top. Get your streak back. One question was wrong. Okay. Rollis is first. Chidima is second. Ohio Sigma is third. Bob the Builder fourth. Wizard fifth. Your dress was expensive. Oh, what color was it, Chidima? I want to know. Did you go for like black, red? Yeah, which questions are wrong? I'm trying to see. Purple. Ah, nice. Purple's a nice color. Especially lilac, but beware everybody for the question that's wrong. Oh my god, it is lilac. Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, everything's expensive nowadays, though. Potassium in the flame test is lilac. Well done. You got that correct. And in biology, protein turns the test lilac as well. No, I don't know what that term means, Jude. I don't want to know, actually. I thought it was positive. Exactly. Carlene knows cost of living. Buret test, I think. Yeah, well done. Wow, a lot of you are hitting our answer streak of 7. Well done, Jay. Well done, everybody who's getting answer streaks, because that means you're getting a lot of the questions correct. Should you be studying instead of this? I mean, this is a form of studying because it is related to maths. You should have come in for the previous lives. We were not doing maths. We were doing music. We were doing desserts. It was crazy. But yeah, I mean, this is still relevant. So This board is Kahoot, sorry, is supposed to be for all boards apparently. So I didn't make it, but it seems like quite a good one. I'm fading. That's funny. Jay is still at the top with an answer streak of 9. Can we see if anyone can beat that? Zin Wolf has a streak of 11 correct answers. Well done. Okay, I'm glad it's a good quiz. Do another Kahoot for stats. Oh, do the Kahoot stats. Oh, yes, say them. Sorry, I need to wait until I see the board, but I will. Thank you, Tallulah. I'm glad I've helped you. I'm glad I've helped so many of you. It's so lovely to have you all on here. I'm really making friends with you guys as well. Okay, so the stats. For the first game, Jay is at the top, FFF is second, well done, Jude is third, fourth is Nerd, and fifth is Ha Ha Ha. For the next game, you've got Rollis 7 at the top, Bob the Builder second, Chidimug making a comeback with 3 in a row, well done. Wizard 4.0 fourth, Ohio Sigma fifth, and with the third game, you've got Jay at the top, Zin Wolf second with the answer streak of 13, Gape Horn third, Alpha Male fourth, and another Gape Horn fifth. Is this going to be recorded? Yeah, this will be here. This will be available. For those of you who want to join another Kahoot, there's space in the Kahoot that's on the screen now. There should be some space. But there will be Kahoots after this as well. This is for higher tier. There are 30 questions, so most of you guys are halfway through. The first, actually, no, more than half. You're like 20 in. It's probably for both tiers. I mean, I think if you're doing foundation, you're able to answer these questions. That's really good. So Matt is stuck 2,000 points behind the next person. It's okay, as long as you're able to answer the question. Yeah, I wish I could see the leaderboards for everybody, not just the top 5, because then I could interact with more of you. Porn has a answer streak of 13. Almost done, everybody. I hope this is helpful in some way. Jay is still at the top, Jude is second, Nerd is third. Yes, Mohammed, I do teach pretty much all the subjects, except history and Spanish, which are probably the common ones I don't teach. But apart from that, I teach most. J is still at the top, Jude is second, FFF is third, Nerd is fourth, and Ha 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 is fifth. Bob the Builder is at the top of this game. Just about 5 questions left for the first game. You've got 6 questions left for the second game. And 9 questions for the third game, which is on the screen. This is for higher tier, but some of the questions, I don't know, people are saying are applicable for foundation. So you can try and do it if you do foundation, but it's mostly centered around higher Edexcel. Alpha male has the highest answer streak of 18. Pascal's triangle is for further maths, not normal maths. J has an answer streak of 6 in a row. A true alpha. Goodbye, good Nord. Oh, Chidima was so sad. Don't worry, Chidima. I'll keep doing lives every day, literally now. I'm so sorry I abandoned you. You guys are coming to the end of the questions. Goodbye, good Nord. You got such a nice name. You guys got such beautiful names. Geography is better than history. Or at least it's easier, so Okay, and you're on the final question, the first group. You took both history and geography. Oh, I remember those people who used to do that. You get both worlds. The live is behind the Kahoot. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know there's a bit of a lag. Okay, the results for the first Kahoot. Third place, you have FFF. Well done. Really amazing. Second, you have Jude. Well done. In year 10. And first place, you have Jay. Well done, everybody. Fourth place is Nerd, and fifth place is Haha. And well done, everybody else who is taking part. I'm going to start a new Kahoot for you guys as well. Give me a second. Goodbye, everybody who's leaving. Just trying to find a Kahoot for you guys who've just left a game. I can't find one. Why? There's not that many Kahoots for GCSE. Maths, it seems. Okay, found another one. Okay, for everybody who is waiting to join a game, you can join this new Kahoot. I will share the pin in the chat so you can easily just press it. You're on the final question for both the remaining Kahoots. Yeah, it's hard to create a good maths one. I agree. Okay, and then you've got the podium for the last two groups. So you've got Zinwolf, third, well done. Second is Gape Horn, well done. And first place is J, well done to you guys. And fourth is, I can't see, it just says MUH. And fifth is Alpha, male, I think that was. Well done to you guys. And looking at the results for the second Kahoot that was taking place, third place, you've got Wizard 4.0. Second, you've got Bob the Builder. And first place, you've got Rollis. Well done. Ohio Sigma and Sponge runners up. Okay, we're starting new Kahoots, so I will... that one's already full up, so I have to share the screen with something else. That is the second Kahoot for the newcomers. We'll start this game here. Goodbye everybody who's going, it's nice to see you here. This is quite a long one, so we'll probably continue for about 10 minutes. Goodbye everyone. Good luck for the rest of your revision. Yeah, there's multiple Kahoots running at the same time. Okay, so for the first game, you've got K exclamation mark at the top, Hazara second, MUH third, Bob fourth, and Dejombe fifth. It's 28 questions, but we're only gonna do a small amount of it. We're not gonna do all the questions. Okay, that game has filled up, so if you weren't able to join that, you can join this next one here. I'll share the link in the chat. I do not have any foundation maths. I don't even have any maths videos, but I would recommend you guys watching using Maths Genie, because they split all of the questions up into grades, like grade 9, 8, 7, and I remember doing those and they were super useful. So Chidima, did you email me? I haven't seen anything. Okay, we'll start this third game. Yeah, that's the right email, Chidima. Oh yeah, I've seen your email, Chidima, so I'll come back to that. And let me just... King Sigma is at the top there. Bob is at the top. Oh no, Jal is at the top there, sorry. I'm not the same age as you guys. Imagine if I had GCSEs and I was doing Kahoot. No, I'm not the same age. I'm far from it. Jay has the answer streak of 5. Well done. Okay, it's 8:15 now, so I think maybe we'll end the Kahoots there. So looking at the results for that mini one. Third place, you've got important. Second place, you've got Bob. And first place, you've got Jal. Well done. Runners up, Harry and Sophia. For this game, which I've lost track of which numbered game this is, you've got third place, Lagging. Second place, Bob. And first place, K exclamation mark, and then runners up J and some, and then I can't read the rest of that. Okay, well done everybody who was playing. Chidam, I'm going to try and respond to your email now with the answer, but I hope you found this at least a little bit helpful. Oh wait, I haven't done the results for the last game. Sorry, for the last game. Third place, you've got Gape Horn. Second place, you've got grade 7 or 8. Well done. And first place, King Sigma. And then fourth, NS. And fifth, AK-47. Okay. Okay, well done, everybody. So yeah, we're going to end the live there. If that's okay. I hope you found this helpful. And don't worry, I know we didn't do lives yesterday, but we'll be doing lives from that onwards. Every day. So whatever exam you have, except history and Spanish, I'm probably going to be doing a live. So make sure you turn up to those. Thank you so much for being in this one, and I will see you soon. Good luck, everyone.